Sis, do you find yourself struggling with your identity? Do you battle with things like self-doubt and low self-esteem, feeling inadequate, and just being confused about your life? And if so, do you desire to have a sense of self and to know who you are? If you answered yes to those questions, then this video is for you. Hi, Queen. Welcome to Crooked Crown. My name is Destiny. I'm a coach, and I help women get clarity on their identity and purpose. And in today's video, we are going to discuss what many people struggle with, and that is finding identity. Let's get into it. Identity. So let's talk about identity, because so many of us have our identity wrapped up in so many different things that really don't define us, but we put so much weight on it. For some people, they may have their identity in their money, in their looks, in their relationship, in their career, in their family. People put their identity in so many different things. But can I tell you that if you are putting your identity in one of those outlets, your identity is in the wrong place, because nothing outside of you should make you who you are. Because think about this. If those things get taken away from you, then what are you left with? Right? So your identity has to be something that's bigger, has to be something that's better than anything that's materialistic, than anything that can be taken away from you. So when I talk about identity, I'm talking about the characteristics, the beliefs, the values, the attitude, the experiences of what makes you who you are as a person. I truly, truly believe, as a Black woman, as a Black queen, as a mother, as an entrepreneur, as someone who loves God, I really believe that this teaching is something that we are missing in our community, especially when it comes to us young women, right? Because we have so many different people out there that show us different things and try to tell us that, well, in order to be considered a real woman, you have to have maybe a bigger booty, or you have to look a certain way. And this oftentimes leave women confused, because a woman don't know, is it in my hair? Is it in my hips? Is it in my lips? Where is it at? But today, I just want to talk to you about something that is of substance. So if you would just give me your time for about 20 minutes, sis, I'm going to break this thing down for you to completely understand, and you will never again put your identity in things that are material and things that can be taken away from you or in other people's opinions. All right? So listen, so whenever we're talking about identity, we're talking about characteristics, we're talking about beliefs, we're talking about values, we're talking about experiences, and we're talking about attributes. These are all the things that make you who you are as a person. Notice I didn't say anything physical. Notice I didn't say anything about money. I didn't say anything about a relationship. I didn't say anything about a career. None of that. Everything I said has everything to do with things that are not tangible. Okay? So let's break this down. Let's talk about characteristics, because this is the first part of what makes somebody who they are. Okay? So oftentimes we call this personality. Do you know somebody who just blah, like they ain't got no personality, they boring, they can't laugh, they can't joke around, they just always so serious? Like, it's just like, dang, bro, like, get a life. But anywho, so today we're gonna talk about personality characteristics. All right, that word almost just took me out, y'all. But when it comes to somebody's personality, this is how you show up in the world. This is how you show up. This is how other people perceive you, right? So your personality could be goofy. Your personality could be funny. Your personality could be outspoken. You could be quiet. You could be shy. This is your personality. This is a part of your identity. This is a part of what makes you who you are, right? Some people are very positive. Some people are very negative. These are all characteristics of somebody's personality. You know, sometimes you meet people who are just, you ever met somebody who's just really loud and just outspoken, or maybe you meet people who are just rude. Okay? This is a part of someone's personality, and your personality is what helps shape your identity. So if I were you, but I'm not. I would sit down, I would get a piece of paper, and I would begin to write down the parts of your personality that you like and the parts of your personality that you dislike, because your personality is what helps make your identity. And I believe that this is an area that a lot of people struggle with, because certain people see other people's personality and they want to be like them instead of leaning into who they are. So if you are naturally an extrovert, if you are naturally outspoken and you're outgoing and you're friendly, then be that. There's nothing wrong if you're quiet or if you're shy. And I didn't realize this for a long time, even about myself, because I noticed about me, like, I'm not really like the person who's really like outgoing and who likes to just be on go all the time, and the person who just makes friends easily. I'm very like reserved, and I'm kind of like to myself. I know y'all see something different on camera, but I'm very reserved and I'm kind of to myself. And at one point I thought that was a problem, because I thought, well, maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe I just need to be outspoken. And I think that we make things a problem that are not even a problem. Sis, if that's your personality, if that's who you are, then be that and lean into that, and don't try to be anybody else, and don't allow people to make you feel like something's wrong with you based off of your personality. We are all different. We're not all called to be the same. Some of us are more quiet, some of us are more shy, some of us are more loud. But whatever it is your personality is, I want you to lean into that and be confident and secure in who you are, and not think that it's an issue because you're not like somebody else. Right? All right. So let's move on. Let's move on to physical characteristics. So these are like the visible traits that you see on people, you know, hair color, eye color, size, height. And it's so funny because most of the time people base their identity around their physical traits. So like, because sometimes that's all people know. You ever met somebody who was just so shallow, like they didn't have any depth to them, and their whole personality and everything was just in how they look? Like they didn't have no character traits, and they have no personality. It's just like, girl, you just cute, and that's it. Don't be that girl, okay? We want to be women that have way more substance than our looks. There's nothing wrong with looking good, okay? Because I believe in looking good, but I also believe that you should have a little bit more depth to who you are. So yes, your physical characteristics does play a part in your identity, but it shouldn't be your everything. It shouldn't make you who you are. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't depend so heavily upon this flesh, because at the end of the day, one day you're going to get old. This is just dust. It's going to go back to sand when you die. You're not going to be young forever. And I feel like so many people put their whole identity into how they look. You got models and strippers and prostitutes and whatever. And when I see those women, I think they're confused, because you can't put your whole identity in something that could be changed in like 2.5 seconds. God forbid you get into a car accident and it changes your whole face. You know, so I think that sometimes we have our confidence in the wrong place. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with looking good. There's nothing wrong with being beautiful. But if that's your everything, if that's your whole personality, then that's a problem, because there should be something more to you other than how you look. All right. Now let's go to belief systems, because this is the third thing that make up a person's identity and who they are. Your belief systems. What do you believe? What do you believe? Are you Christian? Are you Muslim? What are you? What are your belief systems? I think this is something that is heavily lacking in our generation, is our belief systems, because we're all over the place. One minute we're spiritual, the next minute we're Hindu, the next minute we're Buddhist. We're very confused, right? But a part of your identity, a part of knowing who you are, is knowing what you believe. A part of knowing who you are, I'm going to say that again, is knowing what you believe. And too many of us don't know what we believe. And this is why it's so easy to sway you. This is why it's so easy to persuade you and to convince you, because you don't know what you believe. And when you don't know what you believe, I can tell you what to believe, and you will take on my beliefs. There's so many people walking around with other people's beliefs and not even their own. Because you haven't sat down to do the research. You haven't sat down to study. You haven't sat down to figure out who you are as a person. So you just go along with everything. And that's not a way to live. You have to know what you believe, especially in this day and time, because there's so many different things out there to believe in that you have to be secure in what you believe in and be convicted about it. Regardless of what people say, regardless of what people do, regardless of culture, you have to be convicted about your belief systems, all right? And then another area I want to touch on is values. Wow. So many people, like a lot of people don't have values. They don't even know what values are. Like what is that, right? So values are things that you value, that you really care about. Some people value family. Some people value good health. Some people value wealth. Some people value hard work. Some people value honesty, faithfulness, loyalty. Everybody values different things. You have to sit down and you have to list out, what is it that I value? What is important to me? What matters to me? And not only that, you have to figure out, how can I get my actions to align with what I believe, with my values? So having an identity and knowing who you are is just deeper than your looks. It's deeper than the amount of money you make. It's all about your belief systems. It's all about your values. It's all about your experiences. It's all about your character. It's all about your attributes. All of that stuff makes you who you are. It's not one or the other. It's all of them. And you're doing all of this in one way or another. You just may not know, right? So how does your belief system play into your identity? So this is how I see it, right? Because your belief systems are a set of convictions and principles that guide your thoughts, your beliefs, and your behavior. Let me say that again. Your belief system are a set of convictions and principles that guide your thoughts, behaviors, worldview, whatever you want to say. And this is one of the things that we are lacking. I know this video might be boring, but you need this because it's going to change your life. Because this is the missing piece of what you don't have. And this is why you feel inadequate. This is why you deal with low self-esteem. This is why you can't make decisions. This is why you doubt yourself, because you don't know who you are. And in order for you to understand who you are, you have to understand what makes a person who they are. So you need to understand belief systems. You need to understand values. You need to understand characteristics, because all this makes a person who they are. Like, I can't speak for y'all, but for me, I'm a Christian. That's my belief system. And because I'm a Christian, there are a certain set of values that I live by that comes from the Word of God. I value my relationship with God. I value my family. I value my health. I value wealth. I value my mental state. I value hard work. I value honesty. Those are things that I value, and there's so much more. But those are things that I value. And because I'm a Christian, because I'm a believer, I get some of my values from the Word of God. And also, your beliefs don't just bleed over into your values, they bleed over into your characteristics. Because yes, I'm a Christian. Yes, I value those things. But I also have characteristics that the Bible teaches me to have as well. We call them the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, forbearance. That shapes my character. So my beliefs shape my value. My beliefs shape my character. And my beliefs also can shape my personality to a certain extent. So this is why it's important to understand your beliefs, your values, and your characteristics. Because what you believe is what you live. And if you don't know who you are, I can tell you who you are. And this is the missing pieces that you don't have, that you've been missing. You've done all the outer work. You've changed the wardrobe. You've changed the hair. You've got new makeup. You've done it all. Now it's time to sit down and work on the inside. And this ain't something that you can just buy. This is something that you got to work on, because you can't fake being kind. You can't fake being generous. You can't fake being faithful. You can't fake being loyal. This is so important for your mental health. This is so important for your overall life, because when you don't understand who you are, you will live a life that's not in alignment or authentic to who you really are as a person. That's why you have to sit down and map this stuff out. Do you not understand that you not knowing who you are plays a part even in your relationships? The reason why you keep dating the wrong men is because you don't understand who you are. And in order to be in a relationship with somebody, you have to align with that person. You have to have the same values. You have to have the same belief systems. I'm not saying everything has to align and everything has to match, but baby, we got to agree on the core things. And this is why some of your relationships ain't working, because you keep getting with men who don't have character. You keep getting with men who don't have value systems or belief systems. So it's not that they keep cheating on you because you're not beautiful or because you're not worth it. No. They just ain't got no good characteristic traits. They just don't have no value systems. They just ain't got no belief systems. They don't believe in loyalty. It has nothing to do with you. But if you don't know that, as a woman, you will walk around with low self-esteem because you would think everything is about you. But when you understand that certain people are not secure in their identity, when you understand that certain people don't know who they are, that things will begin to change with you. Even in your own personal life, because once you sit down and you understand your beliefs, your values, your characteristics of who makes you who you are, you will begin to see your life move in a certain direction, because now you leave room and space for the things that truly align with you to find you. But as long as you're pretending to be somebody else, what belongs to you can never come to you. As long as you're confused, what belongs to you can never come to you. You gotta do the work. You gotta do the work to become her. I get the whole soft girl era. I get the whole looking good. I get the whole wanting to travel the world and do all of that stuff. And that stuff is great. It's awesome. It's amazing. But it's not until you get those things that you realize, wow, I still feel like I have a void. And I'm so passionate about this because I lived majority of my life up until the last 3 years as a fraud. Because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know my value systems. I didn't know my character. I didn't have good character traits. I didn't know what I believed in. So I was living life as a fraud. Nothing ever felt right. I was that girl that it depended on who I was around, that's what my personality was based off of. You ever met people like that? Just fake and phony? They're not doing it intentionally. They just don't know who they are because they haven't figured it out yet. But when you figure out who you are, that's when you're able to allow it to bleed over into other areas of your life, like your friendships and your romantic relationships and your career path and the things that you desire out of life. But if you don't get this part down, how are you going to move to the next step? So this part is important. You can't skip this. You can't skip this part. You have to sit down and do the work. What do you believe? What do you believe? What characteristics do you want to have? What is your value system? What do you care about? Or are you just selfish? You don't care about nobody and nothing but yourself. See, these are the real questions that we need to be asking ourselves. Because this is what makes us who we are. And granted, it's a journey. It's going to take time. You know, we're not going to just do this overnight. It's a process. That's why you have to continue to work on you. That's why you have to continue to invest in you, because you are worth it. A lot of us never got the opportunity to work on who we are. A lot of us never got the opportunity to truly be ourselves authentically because we had people around us who took our voice from us, who took our confidence from us, and they made it not safe for you to be who you are. I know what I'm talking about because I lived it. They made you feel like it wasn't safe for you to be who you was. And that's why you took on this false persona, this fake identity, but you feel like a fraud. You feel the disconnect. You don't even feel like you. You feel the disconnect because it's not you. You're doing things that are completely out of alignment with who you are, but because you're a people pleaser, but because you care more about what people say about you because you don't truly know who you are. You do the things that you do And I just think that, sis, it's time to get back to the basics. It's time for you to get back to knowing who you are. Sit down, map it out, write it down. What do I value out of life? What do I want out of life? What are my belief systems? How do I want to show up in the world? How do I want people to see me? Do I want to be known as a girl that always gossip, that's always full of drama, that's always sad, that's always depressed, that ain't got nothing going for her? She's always in this relationship and out of that relationship. You don't want to be that woman, and you don't have to be. But it's about you sitting down and understanding who you are and who you want to be. And then aligning your behavior and your values with your belief systems. That's when things will begin to change for you. But until you get authentic with yourself, nothing changes. And it's okay if you don't know, because a lot of people, they don't know. And that's okay. They don't know where to start. They don't know. You've been faking it for so long that it's hard to find who you really are. Now you believe the lies about yourself. And this could be negative, this could be bad, or this can be good. But at the end of the day, you want to be sure in who you are. You want to be confident in who you are. You want to know who you are, because you don't want the world to tell you who you are. And you want your life to begin to align with who you are, so you can get the blessings that God has for you, because he can't bless who you pretend to be. He can only bless who you really are. And God knows who he called you to be. He knows what he called you to do. He knows that. And if you are out of alignment with him, that's why you keep missing the mark. That's why you're not getting your blessings, because you're out of place. We can't locate you. Where are you? Do you even know where you at? Some of us have never took the time to cultivate us, to love us, to pour into us, to work on us. But sis, make this a season where you focus on you, and it's about you, and you love you. Even if you got to sit down and create a whole new identity, make sure that it's authentic and in alignment with who you are. And you don't need permission from anybody to be great, from anybody to be who you are. You don't need permission from anybody. You have full permission to go live your life and to be who you are freely. Get all of those naysayers and negative people out your life that wants to silence you, that wants to stop your creativity, that wants to stop your voice, that wants to hold you back, that wants to criticize you. Shut those voices off in your head, because you don't have to live for them people no more. It's time for you to live for you. It's time for you to show up for you. And if they got to leave your life, if they got to walk away, if you got to walk away, then so be it. Because at the end of the day, what's going to be for you is what's going to be for you. So don't worry about no Negro leaving. Don't worry about no females walking away. Don't worry about none of that. As long as you are authentic with who God has called you to be, that's your only job. Your only job is to show up being who God called you to be. And that's it. You can't be nobody else, because everybody else is already taken. If you too busy trying to be them, who gonna be you? And we need you. So sis, it's time for you to show up for yourself. It's time for you to be great. It's time for you to sit down and figure out what you truly believe, your value systems, your characteristics, your personality. How do you want to show up in the world? How do you want to be seen? How do you want others people to see you? What perspective of you do you want people to have? How do you want to see yourself? How do you want to live for yourself? It's time for you to be authentic. You ain't got to be like everybody else. Be like you and own who you are. Own it. Own it. And when you do this, you're going to start to notice the wrong people going to leave out your life. You're going to start being secure in who you are. Your confidence is going to go up. You're going to start getting your voice back. You're going to start being able to make decisions better. You know why? Because when you make decisions out of who you are. You don't make decisions off of no emotions, because emotions change. Emotions are not stable. So it's best for you to make decisions off of your beliefs, off of your values, and off of your character. That's the only thing that's going to remain the same. That's the only thing that's stable. Stop dating people out of emotion. Stop dating people because they look good, and start really examining people's heart, their value systems, their characters. We can save ourselves a whole lot of heartbreak if we would really start examining people on a deeper level than just the shallow of he look good and he got money. That ain't enough in this season. You ain't no shallow type of chick. All right, you a dead. That stuff ain't just gonna impress you because you got a nice little car and you got a little Rolex and some money. Absolutely not. I got value. I got substance. I got depth to me. So if you want me, you gonna have to really bring it. Period. And that's the level that we own. That's the level that we own. But sis, I hope that what I'm teaching you is really, really valuable to you. And you really begin to apply this to your life, because you will really see a difference in your identity. You will see a difference in your confidence. And I want that for you. I want that for you. But you got to sit down and you got to do the work. You have to come into understanding who you are. Stop allowing people to put identities on you. Stop allowing people to make you who they want you to be. No. You show up for you. You be who God has called you to be unapologetically. Be you, sis. Be who you are. Blossom like a butterfly. It's time. It's time for you to spread your wings, and it's time for you to fly. All right. And I'm all for it. And I support you. All right. And if you find yourself on this journey where you feel confused and you feel stuck, I do offer coaching. You can message me on any platform. You can write me on YouTube and I will reach out to you. Right now, I currently have my website is being worked on, but that'll be out soon. For me to be offering my coaching services. But sis, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up right here. I hope this video was helpful to you all. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe if this video was helpful to you. And as always, I appreciate you beauties for tuning in, and have a blessed night.